guys, it's Jessica from Peace Out Books, and today I'm here with my November TBR. I have quickly realized we have 2 months left of the year, and I still have at least half of my 2020 TBR to read, and I had picked 10 books at the beginning of the year I wanted to read. And I've only read like 4 of them, I think, so I gotta get on that. But I have a really exciting TBR for November, so I'll go ahead and get to the books I hope to read. So the first 3 are for the Bridgerton read-along. It is the Binging Bridgerton readathon that I'm hosting with some friends on Instagram and YouTube. And so in November, I have to read 3 of the Bridgerton series. So on the 9th, we're gonna start with The Duke and I, then we're gonna go into The Viscount Who Loved Me, and then we're gonna read Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. And I'm very, very excited to read these. My library has the audios if you guys want to join in. I would definitely recommend. My mom's joining in, which is exciting, and so many other people. I think our Discord group has over 200 people. If you did not catch the announcement, I will link it down below to see how you can join, and I'm super excited. I'm hosting the first book, so at the end of the first week, I will be hosting the readathon live show to discuss The Duke and I. We'll be discussing in the Discord as well, but I gotta read this definitely this month and read these each week. So I think I'll definitely read this one physically since I'm hosting it, and I'll probably get the audios of these 2 just because a book a week for historicals would take me a while. Audiobooks are great though, and I'm listening to historicals, so I can't wait to read the series. I don't know what it's about, so I just know it's a historical romance. Then I really hope to read After the Fall by Gianna Darling. This is book 4 in the Fallen Men series. This is the continuation of Cress and King's story. They had the first book, and then we had a different couple for books 2 and a different couple for book 3, and then we came back around to them. I haven't yet read this yet. We already also have book 5 that's already out. I'm way behind on the series. I think book 6 comes out sometime this winter, so I at least hope to get to this one, if not book 5 as well. They're motorcycle romances. I love them. They're dark. I love Gianna's writing, so I can't wait to read this one. One of the books I set out to read this year and never picked up is What the Wind Knows by Amy Harmon. I need to read this, and I just know it's for fans of Outlander. We have a woman from the current time period time travel back to Ireland, and I believe it's a romance. That's all I know. I've heard amazing things about this though. It has super high ratings, so I have very high hopes. The next one's carried over from my October TBR. That's Jade City by Fonda Lee. I have not picked this up in October, and based on what I have to read next week, I'm not going to be able to, but I really want to get to this in November because I've seen so many people on BookTube hyping it and loving it, and I think there's also a good romance in here, so I need to get to it. I don't know anything else about it. I don't usually know a lot about fantasies going in. A lot of times the synopses are very complex and confusing about an entire fantasy world, so I'm gonna get to this though, and hopefully I enjoy it. The next one's actually nonfiction, and it might seem weird, but I really want to read Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer. I read The Climb last month, which is a romance that takes place on K2, which is the second highest mountain, but most dangerous mountain in the world. And last night I watched a few documentaries on YouTube about climbing, and one was about Everest, one was about K2, and I'm just so fascinated by it right now. I got a book from the library, I have an audiobook out, and then I've already owned this, so I'm gonna read it and just learn more about why people climb these mountains. And like the documentary I watched, they were like, yeah, we tried climbing it, almost died, but I'm gonna try again. And I'm just like, how? And I know that mentality of wanting to conquer the mountain and like the climber's high you get, it's just crazy. And so they took us along the entire K2 journey, and it looked awful, and so I'm just fascinated by why people like these mountains and mountain climbing, and it makes me really, really mad when people who are inexperienced put the lives of the Sherpas at risk just because they can pay for it to try to climb the mountain and then end up dying. So that's a whole other thing in itself, but I'm excited to read this and see how it went. I think this is the 1996 disaster that happened, was when Krakauer was there. Yep. So I'm excited to read it. I will probably do a reading Christmas romances reading vlog. So one of them I really want to read is All About Us by Tom Allen. It's not on the cover, so it's on like the back and the side. But this is a Christmas romance. It takes place during Christmas, and I think our main character gets this watch, and it takes him back in time to the day where he chose his current wife versus this other woman. And I think it's like maybe in another life, I think is the Taylor Jenkins Reid book. I haven't read it yet, but it's like when you view your choices and like reevaluate what choice you made that took you on the path you are today. So sounds really good. I'm excited to read this. Which leads me to the next book, which is In a Holidays by Christina Lauren, another Christmas book, another one that I'm really excited to read that's a romance. I'm hoping I like this because I have not liked Christina Lauren's last 2 releases, but this one is, again, kind of like the other one where it's something weird is happening with time. So this one is Groundhog's Day. esque, and that means she's reliving the same day over and over again. It's her last Christmas going to this cabin I think she always goes to, and I think there's a romance. I'm excited to try it out and hopefully enjoy it. I don't think it's too long too, so. The next one I really want to read is Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. This one I'm going to try to prioritize in the beginning of the month because it sounds so good. Our main character is an up-and-coming singer. It says that she wakes up with blood on her hands and has no idea what happened, and it has to do with this R&B singer who I think like took her under his wing, but I also think it has to do with like R. Kelly scandal kind of thing. So it says that she's dazzled by his luxurious life, but her dream turns into a nightmare. Behind his charm and star power lurks a dark side. And so sounds really good, really hard hitting, and I'm so excited to finally try Tiffany D. Jackson. This is another one I have to read pretty early on in the month, and that is A Duchess a Day by Charis Michaels. This one is historical romance, and she is escorted by a huntsman to her future betrothed, well, her betrothed, her future husband, who she doesn't want to marry, and I think she falls in love with him. So it's kind of like Bodyguard. He's like escorting her there. Sounds really good. I'm excited to read it. This comes out November 10th, so I gotta read this very soon. Then I have Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. This one I bought, and I also ended up receiving a copy a few weeks after release date from the publisher because I thought I wasn't getting it because it never came, so I bought a copy. So now I have two, so I'll probably give one away. But this one, our main character is plus size, and she's in a cosplay, and she ends up dating an actor in the, I think she writes fan fiction or he writes fan fiction. I don't know, but it sounds really cute, and I'm excited to read this one. Then I really need to read Reborn Yesterday by Tessa Bailey. This is vampire romance. She's a funeral home director, and a body that came in is not actually dead. I believe he's a vampire. So it sounds really good. I'm excited that Tessa Bailey has written a paranormal, and I cannot squeeze this into my paranormal romance readathon. TBR, I have too much going on for that, so I will be reading this after. And the last one's because I'm in the mood for a thriller, kind of, and it is The One by John Mars. I've heard this is kind of a thriller. It's in a world where you can figure out who the one is for you based on this like test, I think, and sometimes you can be paired with a serial killer. So I know one of the perspectives is a serial killer, which is very interesting. And I think some people are like already in relationships and then they see who the one is. So sounds very intriguing. We'll see how it goes. I've heard really good things about John Mars, so hopefully I do enjoy this one. And that is my November TBR. Let me know what's on your TBR for this month. I would love to hear. I also have my Pick What I Read Next, which I haven't done yet, and the Ravished by Romance book club pick, which we haven't picked yet, but I'm reading those as well. But that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.